In the heart of Ontario, California, on June 10, 2023, the Toyota Arena pulsed with anticipation as two warriors prepared to collide in a super middleweight showdown that would etch its mark in boxing history. Jaime Munguia, Mexico's undefeated prodigy, stood tall with a record of 41 wins, no losses, and 33 knockouts, his fists carrying the weight of a nation's pride and the promise of a future champion. Across the ring, Sergiy Derevyanchenko, Ukraine's battle-hardened veteran, bore a record of 14 wins and 4 losses, with 10 knockouts, his eyes reflecting the resolve of a man who had faced the best and never backed down. The crowd buzzed, the air thick with tension, as the announcer's voice boomed through the arena, introducing a fight that promised unrelenting action. This was not just a test of skill, but a clash of wills, a battle between Munguia's youthful aggression and Derevyanchenko's seasoned tenacity. As the fighters touched gloves, the bell rang and the war began. The opening round saw Munguia stalking forward, his broad shoulders squared, his gloves raised like a predator ready to strike. He wasted no time, firing off crisp jabs to close the distance, his eyes locked on Derevyanchenko's midsection. The Mexican strategy was clear: break the body, sap the Ukrainian's durability. A thunderous left hook to Sergiy's ribs landed with a thud, drawing a collective gasp from the crowd. But Derevyanchenko, with his compact frame and iron chin, absorbed the blow and fired back. His jab snapped Munguia's head back, a reminder of his technical prowess. Sergiy's footwork was sharp, his angles calculated, as he slipped a right hand from Munguia and countered with a stinging left hook that caught the younger fighter off guard. The round ended with both men testing each other's defenses, the crowd already sensing this was no ordinary fight. Munguia's aggression met Derevyanchenko's precision, setting the stage for a grueling battle. As the second round unfolded, Munguia doubled down on his body attack, his punches carrying the force of a sledgehammer. He cornered Derevyanchenko against the ropes, unloading a barrage of hooks that echoed through the arena. The Ukrainian's face showed no pain, his eyes burning with defiance. He bobbed and weaved, his head movement frustrating Munguia's onslaught. Then, in a flash, Derevyanchenko exploded with a 3-punch combination, a jab, a cross, and an uppercut that grazed Munguia's chin. The crowd roared, electrified by the back and forth. Munguia, undeterred, pressed forward, his relentless pressure forcing Derevyanchenko to circle and reset. The Mexican's confidence was palpable, but Sergiy's counters were a warning. This would not be an easy night. By the third round, the fight's rhythm began to emerge. Munguia's power was undeniable, his punches landing with a thudding impact that seemed to shake the ring. A vicious right hand to Derevyanchenko's temple momentarily staggered him, but the Ukrainian's legs held firm. He responded with a flurry of his own, a series of short, sharp punches that targeted Munguia's head and body. The crowd was on its feet, the arena vibrating with energy as the two exchanged blows in the center of the ring. Munguia's youth and stamina allowed him to maintain his pace, but Derevyanchenko's experience shone through in his ability to weather the storm and fire back with precision. Each round felt like a chess match, with Munguia's brute force, countered by Sergiy's tactical brilliance. The fourth round brought more intensity. Munguia, sensing he needed to assert dominance, unleashed a combination that pushed Derevyanchenko back, a left hook to the body followed by a right to the head. The Ukrainian's guard tightened, his elbows tucked to protect his ribs, but Sergiy was no mere punching bag. He slipped under a looping right from Munguia and countered with a devastating uppercut that snapped the Mexican's head back. The crowd erupted, some chanting "Mexico," while others roared for the underdog. The exchange was a microcosm of the fight. Munguia's relentless offense against Derevyanchenko's resilient defense and counterpunching. Both men's faces showed the wear of battle, red welts forming, sweat dripping, but neither showed any sign of retreat. As the fight moved into the middle rounds, the pace somehow intensified. The fifth saw Munguia land a crushing body shot that made Derevyanchenko wince, a rare crack in his stoic facade. The Mexican capitalized, trapping Sergiy on the ropes and unleashing a flurry of punches. The crowd sensed a potential finish, but Derevyanchenko's heart refused to break. He fought his way off the ropes, landing a crisp 1-2 that forced Munguia to reset. The sixth round followed suit, with Munguia's power shots answered by Sergiy's slick counters. A particularly brutal exchange saw Munguia land a right cross that rocked Derevyanchenko, only for the Ukrainian to fire back with a left hook that wobbled Munguia's knees. The arena was a cauldron of noise, fans screaming as the fighters traded blows with reckless abandon. By the seventh round, fatigue began to creep in, but neither man slowed down. Munguia's punches, though still heavy, were slightly slower, his breathing heavier. Derevyanchenko, too, showed signs of wear, his movements less fluid but his resolve unshaken. A moment of brilliance came when Sergiy ducked a wild hook from Munguia and landed a counter right hand that sent a spray of sweat flying from the Mexican's head. The crowd gasped, then cheered as Munguia shook it off and charged forward, his warrior spirit undeterred. The round ended with both men standing toe-to-toe, trading punches as the bell rang, their gloves still swinging as the referee stepped in. The eighth round was a turning point. Munguia, perhaps sensing the fight slipping into a grueling stalemate, threw everything into his attack. A massive overhand right caught Derevyanchenko flush, rocking him back on his heels. The Mexican pounced, hammering Sergiy's body with hooks that seemed to sap his strength. But Derevyanchenko, ever the warrior, dug deep. He absorbed the punishment and fired back with a vicious uppercut that caught Munguia mid-combination. The crowd was delirious, the arena shaking as the two men stood in the pocket, trading blows like gladiators. Each punch landed with a sickening thud, yet neither man fell. It was a testament to their durability and heart. As the fight entered the championship rounds, the stakes grew higher. The 9th and 10th rounds saw both fighters push past exhaustion. Munguia's relentless pressure kept Derevyanchenko on the defensive, but the Ukrainian's counters remained dangerous. A particularly brutal sequence in the 10th saw Munguia land a series of body shots, each one drawing a grimace from Sergiy. But the veteran responded with a combination that snapped Munguia's head back, proving he was still in the fight. The crowd, now hoarse from cheering, fed off the fighters' energy, their roars fueling the warriors in the ring. The 11th round was a war of attrition. Both men's faces were marked, swollen cheeks, reddened eyes, but their spirits were unbroken. Munguia's power shots continued to find their mark, while Derevyanchenko's technical skill allowed him to slip and counter, keeping the fight competitive. A moment of drama came when Munguia landed a looping left hook that staggered Sergiy, but the Ukrainian clinched, buying time to recover. The round ended with both men still standing, their gloves raised in defiance. The 12th and final round was nothing short of cinematic. Munguia, knowing he needed a statement, poured everything into his attack. A crushing left hook to Derevyanchenko's body landed with a sickening thud, and the Ukrainian dropped to a knee, the first knockdown of the fight. The crowd exploded as the referee began the count. Sergiy, his face a mask of determination, rose at 8, his legs shaky but his will unbroken. He fought back, landing a desperate flurry of punches that forced Munguia to cover up. The final 30 seconds were a blur of violence, both men swinging with everything they had, the bell ringing as the crowd leapt to its feet. As the fighters embraced in the center of the ring, sweat and blood mingling, the crowd showered them with applause. The judges' scorecards were read: 115, 1-12, 114, 113, 115, 1-12, all for Jaime Munguia, a unanimous decision victory. The Mexican raised his fist